Hey guys, so it is our math time and we are continuing with multiplication. So we're going to do a quick review over what we learned yesterday, and then we're going to kind of work on some problems before I have you do an assignment on your own. So real quick, what is multiplication? So guys, multiplication is where we combine equal groups to find the total. So instead of adding, we are going to be multiplying, okay? And so our goal is to find the total, and we're doing that by making equal groups. So the new sign that we're introducing is times, but I want to talk about what this sign actually means. So anytime we see a multiplication sign or a times sign, guys, that actually means groups of. Okay, so this right here means groups of. Okay, so anytime we see that, we're talking about making groups. Okay, so let's talk about what our multiplication problem actually tells us, because 4 times 2, we can draw a picture and make equal groups. So let's break it down. So our first number is telling us the number of groups. Okay, so this number right here is telling us number of groups. Okay, so if I were to see 4 times 2, I know that I need to make 4 equal groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I know the times means 4 groups of, and this number 2 tells us how many are going to go in the group. So the number before the multiplication sign tells us the number of groups we need to have, and the number after the multiplication sign tells us what's going in each group. So this number tells us how many in each group. So I know that I'm going to have 2 in each of my groups. Okay. So I have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So this is how I show equal groups. Okay. I take my multiplication problem, 4 times 2. I break it apart. I know that the first number tells me the number of groups. The times sign tells me groups of, so 4 groups of 2. This number tells me how many are in each group. Now, I want to solve this, and there's a way we can do that. So remember, we're trying to find the total of our equal groups. So some of you may know what 4 times 2 is. Some of us may not. I can go and I can count what's inside, or I can add the equal groups, which we call repeated addition, because we're adding the same number over again. Okay, so if I wanted to add what is in my groups, I could say, so here would be 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So that means that I'm going to add 2 4 times. Okay, and this one's easy, guys, because we can skip count. We know how to count by 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So I know that the total number in my equal groups is 8. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8. So 4 times 2 is 8. Okay. All right, so we are going to go over to our handout for our review to look at some different ways to show this, and then you'll do some on your own. All right, guys, so we are going to now look at some problems. So you will need the handout that says multiplication models review. And I know the numbers are kind of wonky, we're not going to worry about that. And so we're going to, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different things we're going to look at. And so the first one is we're going to take our multiplication problem. Let my thing focus real quick. Okay. And we're going to draw equal groups. Okay. So I have 4 times 2, and that's the one we actually did on the board, guys. So that means that I'm going to have, the 4 is my group. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then remember that means groups of, so I have 4 groups of 2. So that means there are going to be 2 in each group. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And I can actually skip count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. And so my next one is 5 times 3. So that means 5 groups of 3. So I'm going to have 5 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3. The 3 is telling me what to put in my groups. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now I can count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I also could have done plus 3, plus 3, plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. My repeated addition. Okay. Next, it wants us to examine each set of equal groups and write the equation. So guys, this is what an equation looks like. Okay, so it wants us to look at our equal groups and write the equation. So let's look at this. So number 7. First, remember when we have our multiplication sign. Whatever goes here is groups. And whatever goes here is the number in the groups. Number in the groups. Okay, so let's look at how many groups we have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 groups of, I'm going to go and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 4 groups and there's 5 in each group. Okay, so I can actually count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20. So that would be 4 times 5 equals 20. So 4 groups of 5 is 20. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Remember, this number right here tells me groups. This number right here tells me number in groups. So what's in the groups? Number in groups. So I have 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 groups, okay? And let's look and see what's inside of each group. Yep, 4. Okay, so I could say 4 plus 4 plus 4. So I have 4 plus 4 is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So those are my equations. So we started by looking at the equation and drawing the groups of, and then I went from looking at the groups up to drawing the equation. So the next thing they want me to do is examine the multiplication equation and write repeated addition sentence. Okay, so let's see, how would I draw the repeated addition or write it? So I'm going to draw it out so we can look at it. And so I have 5 groups of 4. So let me draw my groups. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I have 4 in each group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my repeated addition would be, I'm going to add 4. So I'm going to say plus 4, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4. So 1, 2, so I'm adding 4 5 times. So 4 plus 4 plus 4. So you're going to add a 4 for each group you have. Plus 4 would be, so let's count that. So 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. And 16 plus 4 is 20. Okay. So let's look at number 5. And this one I need 3 groups, because remember that first number tells us the number of groups. And then I need, each group has 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So my repeated addition would look, so I'm going to be adding 2 for however many groups I have. So 2 plus 2 plus 2. And I can count by 2s. 2, 4, 6. Okay. So now what we're going to do is they give us the repeated addition, and I want to write the multiplication equation. Okay. So guys, this is what you're doing. So here, this is telling us what is inside my groups. Okay. So I know that I have 6 inside my group. Okay. So the 6 is going to go on this side. It's going to go on the right side because this is the number in the group. Okay. Now I have 6. So think about, I would kind of circle it. 1, 2, 3. Those are my groups. I have 3 groups of 6. So this right here is telling me groups. Okay. So I would circle the numbers making your groups. Okay, and then if I add 6 3 times, 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 6 is 18. So 3 times 6 is 18. So remember, guys, multiplication is about finding the total of equal groups. Okay, finding the total in the equal groups. Instead of just adding, instead of just going 6 plus 6 plus 6, there's a shorter way by multiplying. So let's look at this one. So I know that to the right of my multiplication sign, I'm going to have 1, because this is telling me, what I'm adding is telling me number inside groups. Okay. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to circle to make my group. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 groups. Okay. And so let's count. If I have 8, if I'm going to go 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7, and 7 plus 1 is 8. Okay. All right, guys. So guys, with the multiplication that we're doing right now, we're not trying to memorize the multiplication facts. We are using models to help us find the total of equal groups. Okay? Find the total of what's in the equal groups.